Hello, this is the fourth in the series of designing a custom user interface for your Domoticz platform, and here we can see a quick demonstration of what you have available to download from GitHub. We've basically just built on the principles that I'd laid out in the first three episodes, but I've moved things on reasonably rapidly now to show you how you can actually implement all of that together and build a custom user interface for Domoticz. It's not reinventing the wheel. Basically, all of these switches and mood selectors, etc., are all based on just Domoticz switches on and off. But in order to make the user interface more friendly and more distinguishable, we've separated out into things such as mood switches, on-off switches, and electrical switches that have the red light at the end of it when they're on. So they basically use all the same principles that we've been using before, and you can easily download and modify this code because I've put a starting point on GitHub. It's pretty empty, and all you have to do is fill in your Domoticz information. For example, your IP address, your username, your password, and then the rest of it is dealt with by the CSS and web parts of HTML snippets that you can copy and paste repeatedly to add up to make a screen that looks like this. So you can see here, this is the tablet version of the screen. So this is in landscape mode. This screen shows what the switches look like. The white things on the side there are scenes. They just switch on a Domoticz device, so there's no off option, but that can be used to activate certain things and certain routines in your home control. The audio screen, which I've included separately, that links directly to the Sonos API, which again I've covered in previous ones of this previous videos, and also over on my blog, so you can see how that would work. But as you can see, it's reasonably graphical. It's simple enough. It controls your Sonos, but you have a limited selection of playlists, etc., that you might want to choose from, and that is actually quite helpful, I've found, for quite a few different users of the system. Rather than over-facing them, you just click on the room and then choose what to play. And likewise, this is a screen which just shows the devices, the on-off devices, and their status and whether they're on or off. So you can see that again, this is just an extension of what Domoticz is normally capable of. However, it's showing it in a different way. So finally, here are a few pictures and videos of what the actual system looks like in real life. So you can see it here on a tablet that's attached to the wall, and again here you can see the same tablet, but it's showing the audio, and here's a portrait tablet and what that looks like. So it's pretty easy to install this and to save a local copy for you to start playing with and uploading into your Domoticz www folder. First of all, use the link in the description to download the items that I've saved there in GitHub. Then you want to find the file called blank and edit that to include your Domoticz IP address and your passwords. So here is the blank.html file that I've included from GitHub. Here you can see in this area there are variables. So the ones to look at are the array, which shows the devices to display. Now this is an array which shows all the IDX numbers of the devices that you want to show down in tablet screen, the right hand side of the screen, or on your mobile phone at the bottom of the screen. You can put as many devices as you want in here, and the HTML will cope with that and expand accordingly. The Domoticz URL is here, which shows the URL of your Domoticz system. You need to change that, and also the port, of course. Now the username and password, you need to change them, and you need to put them into a specific way of scrambling your username and password. If you don't want to put them as clear text, you can do that via the Domoticz website. You can find out how to do that quite easily from the Domoticz website. Again, here, if you want to control audio, I mean, this wouldn't necessarily be in the blank .html, but you may want to change it in here, and then so when you copy it over for the audio version, you can put in your Sonos URL and your Sonos port. You also put in the room that you want to start your audio with, and then you put in the room pos as 0, max room pos as 4, meaning that there are 5 rooms from 0 to 4. And then in here you put in the order in which you would like to change Sonos rooms by clicking on the room name. So those are the variables that you put in. You then scroll down. The rest of it kind of works itself, but then you have to scroll down to the HTML. Up here you've got some the different icons and where they link to. So if you want to keep this how it is right now, then don't forget that you would need to save pages which are named index, lights, devices, etc. But you can always change that on this screen, especially if you're going to use the blank one as a duplicate to duplicate for the next screens. I'd recommend that you do that, so that then you only need to do this bit of menu coding once, and then it will copy through to all the other ones as you copy the files. Then we've got some areas here. The left area, which is the large area on the tablet, or the upper area on the smartphone, that's all the things that are contained in there. And then we've got this the div class, which is area right, which is the area to the right of the tablet, or the area at the bottom of the smartphone screen. And all you need to do in that area is to put in a div which is called devices div. From then on, any devices that you've listed in that array at the top, their names and statuses will come through, and you'll be able to click on them to switch them on or off. So basically, if you wanted just to create something which was reasonably quick, you could just get rid of all of the left div, just put in this right div with devices div. And then all you need to do is change your variables for your Domoticz URL and your port, your passwords, and put in as many IDXs as you want to include in the device list, and then you've got an instant. You've got more of an instant kind of user interface rather than the current Domoticz one, which may be overfacing for some users. So you can also control which devices are shown, because a lot of us do use Domoticz devices as variables, etc., and we don't necessarily want to show them in the long list of switches. Finally, when you're happy with the code, just duplicate it for each of the screens that you want to show in your user interface, and then you're ready to upload to the Domoticz www folder. So that's the end of this 4-part series. I hope that you've had some inspiration from some of the coding. We've started off very simply by polling Domoticz and updating buttons, and we've got to this stage, which is now a fully fledged user interface, which I hope will give you some inspiration. If you don't use all the elements of it, then you could certainly use some of the principles in order to make your own, if you're familiar with CSS or HTML, or you can just use the code as is from GitHub and just modify the device array and your IP address and passwords, etc., and use it on your own Domoticz installation. So thanks very much for watching, and there's plenty more to come. Thank you.